Hey, I'm meteorologist Doug Myers with the latest look at your forecast. High temperatures yesterday in the low to mid 90s, but we will have a cold front pushing through this morning, and that'll cool temperatures back down in the 80s for most areas. May still hit 90 down near I-35. This model has a 90 in Emporia, but everyone else in the upper 90s. There may be a few more 90s, but obviously most areas, you can see 90 in Manhattan too. Most areas are in the 80s at the coolest temperatures around the Hiawatha, Seneca, Holton area. Low 80s rather, and so it is going to be our last nice day for a while. So take advantage of it, enjoy it, soak it all in. Take as much time as you can to be outside, because as we get into tomorrow's going to be the transition day, almost very similar to yesterday, but once we start the weekend into all of next week, it's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be dangerous, it's going to be deadly if you're not taking care of yourself. So please be mindful of that. Winds today, and I know I'm covering up most of tonight's winds, but you get the idea that yesterday we had the south-southeasterly wind with this what we call a wind rose. This is what's called a wind rose. You'll notice that a southerly wind where the winds are blowing in from the south to the north. So that's kind of why you get that stream of winds and this arrows north because of the southerly winds. But with the northerly wind, and so the north wind blows these arrows or whatever you call it to the south. But you'll notice that, and I know it's a little bit hard to see, they were about 10 to 15 miles per hour yesterday with the winds, and we'll have that same scenario again for today, just a different direction. So that's the biggest reason why we're going to be able to cool things down in the 80s instead of the 90s that we had from yesterday. Little bit of differences in the models on how much clouds we'll have. I'll go with mostly sunny skies for the day today, but mostly sunny this morning, and then sunny skies this afternoon. It's just going to have a few clouds within that cold front that pushes through the area, but it's not going to be very impactful. That's the extent of the clouds, at least on that supercast. Not quite as much clouds here on this supercast model, and then nothing. There's not any cloud cover, no rain. Not much talk about across the region. Maybe a few clouds in southeastern Nebraska by Saturday afternoon, and may clip our far northeastern communities during that time. So that's the reason why we'll go with mostly sunny skies today and Saturday, just for that reason. But sunglasses will certainly be needed both of those days. And then just lots of sunshine for the entire 8 days. Pretty consistent weather beginning this week and into next week. Not much change as far as our temperatures are concerned. We're talking about heat index values between 105 and 110 for most areas. Yeah, there could be some areas that might be just a slightly cooler. There will certainly be areas that will be warmer than that, hotter than that, up to 115 potentially. But bottom line is the vast majority of northeast Kansas will have 105 to 110 for the heat index value starting on Saturday and lasting all of next week. As far as rain is concerned, even looking beyond the forecast period, obviously nothing going on through Thursday. Maybe getting a little bit of rain for Friday and Saturday time period, according to the European, but still not much. And then the GFS, again, nothing, not even across the entire state. Maybe getting a little bit towards the Friday, Saturday time period again, but again, still not much. And unfortunately, the weather pattern looks to continue to be that way across eastern Kansas, at least, with drier than normal conditions expected as we get towards the end of August. And then as far as temperatures are concerned, probability of above average temperatures. Still possible that we could be looking at a slight cool down by the end of next week into next weekend. Maybe mid-90s rather than triple digits. That's a possibility, but there's still a lot of time between now and then for that to change. And of course, yesterday when I had upper 90s for temperatures to begin to begin next week, obviously the models have not ushered in those cooler temperatures anymore. So it was a blip in the computer model run. That's why I'm always hesitant in making huge changes in the extended outlook. I did it just because that model actually had low 90s for highs, while the other one kept us in the triple digits. So that's why it kind of kept us hot, more in the upper 90s rather than triple digits. But bottom line is it's going to be hot. Humidity is also going to play a factor as well. The higher the humidity, the cooler the temperature might be. So for example, Sunday I have 105, but that's because I think the humidity may be relatively low. But if it ends up being higher than expected, well, we might be closer to 100 rather than 105. But at the end of the day, that heat index or the feels like temperature is probably going to be about the same. So that's why I wouldn't be too concerned about the actual air temperatures, because it's just going to be hot. The main concern is going to be that feels like temperature, the heat index. And that's going to be pretty consistent every single day. Obviously, if that changes, we'll let you know. Keep checking back in daily for those updates, and make sure to enjoy today, but still stay cool and still hydrate, even though it will be our coolest day for the next 8 days, because you still certainly want to be ready for what's to come.